Welcome everybody.
There we go. That should work a little better. Had more than one thing turned on there. So sorry I'm running a little late. I got tied up and lost track of time working on stuff for my card game. So I've got some updates on that. Let me put those in the chat. Didn't finish typing up all my notes to make this easier. So let me do that real quick. And other than running late, I am have an idea prepared, so we're not as rambly as last week. So let me do this. There. So my Kickstarter for the card game is in review and proofreading stage. So I got the issue I ran into with my LLC. I had originally had a post office box, and that was pretty expensive, and things weren't moving very fast on getting to the Kickstarter, and so I dropped the post office box. But I did put in a change of address, and I was wondering, did I not send it in? Was there a problem? So I called because the Stripe is the credit card processor that backs up Kickstarters, and they would not accept my documentation with the wrong address. So I called, and you can only call. You can't email. Well, you could mail something in, but you can't do it anything else other than call. Monday I called, was on hold over an hour, and found out that in 2022 they did get my change of address, but for some reason they never sent updated paperwork that shows my address like they're supposed to. So I do not have a fax at home, so they couldn't fax it to me. So I was waiting for 10 to 14 business days to get that piece of paper, and they said, well, you can call back later, but I can't wait for you to figure out how to get a fax, because they were swamped. And every day this week, every time I call, it was, call back later, we're too busy to answer your call. And so today, I was off work today, thank goodness, and I called in the morning, and I only had about a half an hour wait. And Monday, after I ordered the mail copy of the information, I found a service and paid some money for a fax number. And today I called in, I got the fax, canceled that service for the fax number, so I'll have it for the rest of the month I paid for, but I don't need it beyond that. And I uploaded the document to the credit card verification service for Kickstarter and got that approved. Once that was approved, I was able to link it to my business bank account, and then I was able to do one other step tied into that. I don't recall. Oh, I had to link a credit card in case there's chargebacks that they aren't able to resolve. So that's kind of scary, but I guess that's the nature of doing business with Kickstarter. So the banking piece of it is all set, ready to go. And that was the big holdup for moving forward, and I was so focused on that, I didn't do any more on the other stuff for the Kickstarter page. So I basically have all the pledge levels and stretch goals and all that laid out. I just need to add in some art, make a introductory video, and just make sure there's no major glaring typos or anything like that, and then I can submit it to Kickstarter. once they give their sign off on it, then I get the preview page, whatever the terminology Kickstarter uses for your page before you go live, so that I can let people tag it and get a note when it does go live, and then I can go live. So my original goal was to have that go live October 1st. I might still be able to make that if I can finish wrapping that up. My goal is to get that wrapped up tomorrow, Sunday at the latest, so that I can submit that and then share on all my socials and other places what my link to my Kickstarter is, and then as soon as possible, closest to October 1st, I will launch it and go for 30 days and go from there. So that's been very encouraging to finally get past that hurdle. Just a lot of technical rigmarole with Kickstarter. I've got more final art for the card game. I'm up to 8 of 39 total pieces, so that's very encouraging. My artist is getting a few pieces each week done. I have the design template for the layout of the card game, and I have taken all of the initial design art to order a test deck, and I need to review it before I order a test deck, but I want to get a deck with the look of the final art. It's mostly black and white. Some of it has a little bit of color on it, but it looks so much better than my initial art. That's why I wanted to do it, so I've got something, so I should have that while the Kickstarter is running that I can show people. And then once I get the last piece of art, I will well, as I get the final art, I will add it to a copy of my deck that is for the final art. So when I get the last piece of final art sometime during the run of the Kickstarter, I can order a proof deck and make sure that's good. So as soon as possible after funds are released, because I'll need the funds released in order to be able to pay for all the at-cost decks for everybody, for drive-through cards to deliver those. So that's all coming together a piece at a time, and it's going swimmingly, as they say. I'm very encouraged, very energized, very relieved. And so let me see, I had this I wanted to share. I just have to verify where I saved it. Did I save it here? Okay. I didn't save it where I thought I saved it. Just a second here. Let me find what I did with that. It's related to the card game. We want this. We want this. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Okay, here it is. So as you can see, oh, that's my test deck art. Well, there's one of my, that's a final piece there. Where did I save the one I was working on today? I greatly apologize for that. I had saved that off, and I did not save it where I thought I saved it. Let me figure out where I saved that. Well, what did I do with that? That's a head scratcher. Let me figure out what I did here, because I had that ready to show. Well, we'll talk about the card game instead of dragging on and on. So my plans for world building tonight, I have mentioned that I found a very cool picture of what Greenland is supposed to look like without the glaciers, and that's this image right here. So I thought that was really cool. So I want to take that concept and I want to design an island using that concept. And I don't know if I want all the crinkly edges as Slarty Bart Fast in the, or is it Bart Fast in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy talked about, when, because he designed all the crinkly edges of the Norway coast. Greenland is a lot like that. I'm not sure I want to mirror it that much, but I do like this idea of an inland sea or a large lake and isolated interior with some rugged terrain around it. That just seems it's a very evocative and helps me think of ways to handle adventures on that. And so I wanted to take this, and why where did my tool, strange, why is that? Is there an update out there causing a problem? No updates. Okay. So where's the minimize and maximize buttons on that? It should be right there. So what's going on? Huh. Interesting. Alright. So I want to bring up Worldographer. And then I want a new map. We want, all right. World, okay. All on terrain, no, let's do, Oh yeah, Worldographer has random things, so you can use that to generate islands and small continents. I'm going to take a screenshot of that so I don't forget that. We'll come back to that. Let's just do this. Okay, so it's not quite what I was after. Let's see. Let's do oh, that's still a lot of land. All right, that's all right. So let's do ocean and generate there. Okay, here we go. So there is a underlay. Which one's the underlay? Oh, come on. Well, what's the deal with the underlay? There we go. And where was this map? This map is under there. All right. Oh, that's only for Worldographer maps. What am I thinking of? So here, and this. What do I have wrong here? Add an underlay. Right sidebar near the bottom. There's 2 boxes. Okay. There we go. Knew there was a way to do that. So does it not like a JPEG? Alright. Hope you all are doing alright. I changed the settings so you should be able to comment without waiting on 10 minutes to go by. Trace underlay, place an image, open your map, okay, on the right hand sidebar, trace underlay, file chooser you want to use, etc. Okay. Something's not quite right. Select file. It's this image. And don't understand what it's doing here. It should. Oh, it's in there, but it doesn't. All right. Automatically. Oh, convert underlay. There we go. Something's not working me. Is it too big? It's not telling me. Alright. So, apologies for the delay here. Let's see. Mini map area, yes, yes. Okay. Here we go. Have an image of a map, JPEG or PNG. Okay. Let's make a new version. Start with a blank map with the approximate number of tiles you want. Okay. Oh, blank map. Alright, so new World Kingdom map. Let's do blank. Let's do generate. Let's do select. Whoops. Alright. There we go. And the size is probably too big. What is the dimension of that? That's probably my problem. This is 800 by 1042. So that is we want inches 8. Okay, so that's paper size, close to 8 by 10.4. My guess is my image isn't, so there's that, but it's not. Oh, image width. What did I do? File new. 100. So wide is 150. Not 1,000. 50. Oh, there we go. Okay, I just didn't define that. So okay. There we go. So it's a little skewed, but that's alright. So then I can come here and I can convert it and hit convert, and there we go. And then I can, oh, I've got to switch back, and there. Okay, so that's what the conversion step does. It's not that difficult. So I need to make the number of hexes bigger. Or, well, yeah, that map needs more hexes. So I need to change the orientation of it the other direction, portrait instead of landscape. Okay, so there we go. So let's get out of that. Let's get out of that. And let's make that 200 high by 400 wide. Well, actually, it's the other way around. 200 by 400. Generate. Can't do it. Alright. copied something else, so my apologies. I gotta do that because it didn't remember what I did last. There we go. Okay. And 200, 400. There we go. There's that. And okay. View. There we go. Yeah, that's much better. That's huge though. Still a little skewed, but very cool. So let's go to convert it. Classic. Convert. And then change our opacity. Okay. Oh, it converted all the map. Okay. So that shows you one way we can do that. What I like about this is we've got an enormous island, because this is Greenland without ice, so it's the size of Greenland. We'd need to adjust the to get the skew, because it's skinny, so I need to better understand the dimensions and to handle the resolution when it's converted into a hex map. But this gives us the idea, and using Worldographer we've got a pretty handy little map here. Now the issue is I'm zoomed out at maximum zoom. I'd like to be able to see it all in one go here. So the issue is the map itself is the size of a full sheet of paper. So as we navigate this, well, and this is skewed. Okay, it's using a lot of memory. Okay, so here's our map here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this as small, and I'm going to save it to a PNG. Save it. Then we're going to resize it. I'm going to go by percentage, and I'm going to do it 40%. And that's too small. Alright, so let's do 60%. It still seems awful small. Okay. Alright, and then islands, Greenland, that doesn't. Alright, I've got it on my other document, the dimensions of Greenland. So let me get that. That should be this one. This is my research document, so as you can see, I've got a lot of research here, notes, links, and that didn't have, I'm not seeing what I was looking for. Where did I, okay, here we go. Continent versus island. Oh, here we go. That's the size of archipelagos. That's not what I wanted either. Alright. Let me do a little Google here. Okay. $1,660 miles. 650 miles. Okay, and that's 2,670 kilometers. Okay, so what's our ratio here? It's about a third, right? 16660. No, it's the other way. 650 divided by 1660. So the width is 39% of the height. So if the height is 400, 39%. $156. So 200 wasn't too far off. The problem is the size of my starting image is what's skewing that. So let's get back to here. This is the resized image. Let me save this one as Greenland looking map PNG. There we go. Start fresh. New map. And okay, generate it. Okay. And the width, we had 200, 400. Okay. That looks a little better. It's still huge. So what do I need to do to get that to show me? I'll come back to that. So then we're going to convert the underlay using the classic icons. Convert. And then change the opacity. But if we zoom, oh, it's going to let me zoom in. Oh, look at how they pack that with stuff. Okay, that icon seems a little crazy, so okay. So I was thinking that this let us work with that a little bit differently. So I'll save this one. And I want to save it here. That was a little clunky. So making something that big in this is going to be a challenge. So we'll come back to that. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to work in this map editor. And how am I going to do that? So I want to create a layer, and I want to do this. Let's go to that. Do that. We'll grab that color. to here. Oh, that's not the map, that's the, good golly. Let's start over. And we want this. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, that worked halfway okay. So this is just a way to play with it. This is letting me simplify. Then we'll grab another color. We'll grab that color. I didn't grab that color. Oh, that's why. I gotta go here to do that. Jeez. Okay, so that color, go back to this layer, and then, nope, that's not what I meant to do, come on. Well, that could have been a disaster. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're just getting a rough idea. Whoops. Don't click the wrong thing. Yep, I did not complete the let me see, Control Plus. hole in my line there, so let me fix that. There. This one's got one. Okay, is that one fixed? That one's fixed. That one's fixed. That one's fixed. That one. Not that one. Okay. Oh, there's the gap. Oh. There. That's got a gap, I bet. Yep. I was right. Now it should work. Whoops. Where's the gap in this one? Welcome to whomever just joined. I'm playing with a topographic map of Greenland. It's supposed to be what Greenland looks like under the ice. And I'm just making a simplified version of this map with blobs of color for the different elevations, just to have a rough idea of the different topographic features. Doesn't have to be perfect. I just think maps are cool, and I've got some topographic maps. If I don't remember what the locations are now, I haven't really gotten them out to look at them in years. But there's something about topographic maps that are just really cool. I don't know what I don't have encircled on that one, but that should work now. That should work, and that should work. Okay. So we're getting some blobs of color here. Back to my background. Let's save this so I don't lose my progress. There's that. And we'll grab the green. And we'll just go along here. Oh, lost the whole thing. Alright, that's the problem with the undo, is it goes too far. This is a bit tedious. I don't have my drawing tablet set up because I had a monitor go out, and the connection I used for my drawing tablet is now serving one of my two monitors when I got a replacement monitor. So that's only been about a month ago, and I don't use my drawing tablet very often. So I've got to figure out how I'm going to handle that. So I spent money for a drawing tablet that I hardly ever use. So I've got it if I want it or need it. This would be perfect. Alright, there's that. Let's make some islands. Okay, and then let's... Oh, and I did that on the background. I'm a frickin' genius. Okay, so let's copy the background. So, alright, how am I going to do this? So I've got this map. I'm going to have to fix my layer. If I undo, I'm going to lose this layer. Alright, well, let's see. So then I want to do the dropper, and I want to fill. Okay. So it doesn't need to be exact. I can modify the different depths and whatnot. So there's that. Let's see, I could take let me see, I need the select tool. If I do that, there we go, then I can copy that, go to that, do that, turn that off. I still got it. Okay, that worked. So then I can go back to this layer and I can do this select on that. No, that's not what I want, but is there a trace option? I think this should have what is that? Okay, that's not the one I wanted to click on. Let's go in closer. That's the layer. Nope, it's still not letting me click on the one I want. If we go to this one, oh, it's too pixelated. Okay, there it is. It's too much like all the other green. Okay, well, if, alright, that's an idea. Let's go here. We will use the dropper. We'll get that. We'll go to this. We'll select that. Oh, this is so much faster. We'll do this. Oh, look at that. That's the easy way to do that. Okay. So we're going to go back to the easy way to do this. Alright, so I did a lot that I'm going to wipe out and start over. Okay, so I'm going to undo a bunch of stuff because I figured out an easier way to do it. Okay, so I'm going to copy that, make a new layer, paste that in. So we'll hide the original. This will be our working layer. So we'll go here, we'll go here, and does it still have that color? Yep. Okay, so there's that color. Okay. Then we'll go to here, and we'll go there, and we'll go here. Oh, that selects more than what I wanted. Okay, it's not quite discrete enough to grab what I want. Okay, that's all right. So let's save that. Let's do the dropper. We'll grab that. We'll do that. Okay, I can live with that. And we'll do that. Okay, that's perfect. And then we'll go back to this. And we'll do this. Save it. Alright, this is a handy way to do that. This is paint.net that I'm using. Okay, that's a little more than I wanted. Let's back up here because I did that instead of clicking on that. And then I want to go to that. There we go. And then do that. And then do that. Okay. So it's just a handy, quick little way to grab the major colors because there's variations in color here, and we're just wanting to make a quick map so that we can get approximate terrain and elevation. So hills, mountains, forest, scrub, etc. So let's get all the higher elevations marked with this color. Okay, that there. And you may notice I keep hitting save, but I don't want to goof it up so bad I lose all my work. There we go. Which I'm very good at doing that. Nope. Click on that. Nope. There we go. I knew I could click in there eventually. Undo is your friend. Good old Control Z. Let's see that. Just about there. Nope. Nope. Alright. I don't know if I can fine tune that enough to... Yeah, I can't get the color I want. Alright. So that's a slightly lighter shade. So let me grab... Well, that looks almost the same shade. Let's grab... There, that changed. So then we can click on that. Nope, that's getting the wrong color. There we go. And then we can do that. Oh, not everything. So that's doing everything. I don't want to do everything. Alright. How about that? Is that going to do everything? Well, darn. I don't want it all that color. Alright, so let's do... Alright, so I got to come back to that. Let's do... Oh, that is all of that, isn't it? That's all the same shade. So... Let's get the green back. And we'll fill in some islands. It could be pretty scary if Greenland ever looked like that. A lot of places would be underwater. Yeah, Greenland wouldn't look like that because the water would be higher. This is what it would look like if the ice were suddenly gone without altering. Oh, what did I do? I hit that line. Oh, that line's green. Okay. So... do the best we can. Hope everybody's doing okay out there in internet land. Well, what's this going to color if I hit that? Oh, that was helpful. Okay. Oh, and the green lines. That's an interesting effect. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's working really well. Let's save that. Okay. Well, we got some random black dots on there. Those could, or dark dots, those could be settlements. That's interesting. Okay. Accidental little randomization there. And then we've got this other coloration here. So those will be the hills. Let's see, we got just a little bit more I want to get that green on. Not like that. Alright, let's get out of that. Okay. So, yeah, that's the elevation there. So what I then want to do, now that I've got that, I want to attempt this color. Nope, that's going to do more than I want it to do. Okay, so what I need to do is clean out those lines. So an easy way to do that would be that selection there, and then I can do that. Okay, so that works for that. Nope, we got too much of a certain color. Okay, so let's see, we gotta do, whoop, what are you doing here? Yeah, that's not what I meant to do. So we've got, okay. Do that. And then let's do, whoops. How far did that get rid of that? Of course. Note to self, quit doing that. I know not to go that far with that. But I do it anyway. Why? Because I did it again. Alright, let's do this so I don't keep doing that. To go, that needs to go, whoop. I don't want to get rid of my boundary. There we go. Well, I've done it down there, so I guess I can fix that another way. Alright. So we'll do a little of that. Alright. I keep watching to see if there's anything in the chat, so anybody should be able to comment without problem now. So just ask away any questions or whatever. I'll be glad to share what I know about doing stuff like this, which, as you can tell, I don't do it often enough to avoid major faux pas. See, there's a lot of this, so this green can go. Oh, and this can go. And that can go. It's fun watching old Larry fart around with maps. Alright, there's that. Okay, some of that needs to be that color. So we want to get brush. Okay, so the brush is the right size. There we go, perfect. So we can do this. Oh, that shouldn't be like that. I'll have to fix that. Alright, let's do that. Fill that in, fill that in. Okay. Didn't need to grab that color. Let's do that and that. There. Oh, there's train break. I wasn't saying anything, but I missed it. Okay, let's see. Yeah, why not have a section like that? Okay. That worked out pretty good. Okay. Whoop, that's not what I meant to do. Oh, it's not doing that. If I do, nope. Oh, it's selecting the whole frickin' thing. Okay. That looks a lot better. So let's do this color and that, that. Okay. That all looks a lot better. Oh, interesting. blue is blue. Okay, so that, save it, is a handy dandy little map. So various hills, mountains, and green can be forest or whatever. It's just a matter of what goes where. Okay. And got some other things that I want to get off of here. Those. That. There. And we'll grab that. Section there, I didn't mean to do that, so let's grab our blue brush. I'll just kind of clean it up a bit. So it's not perfect, it's pretty rough, but it gives a good idea. I like to have those dots are making like settlement areas. So if we save that, and then we'll, okay, that's hidden, and then we can save this as a working map, and I didn't save it under maps, so we'll save that one under maps. There we go. Flatten it out. There's that. Okay. Now we can come back here. Why have I got two worldographers open? There we go. Let's go to a new map. Blank map. Hop over to here. Select it. Where are you? It's going to be this one, maps, right there. Okay, that. Okay, yeah, Windows 10 support's going to end. Tell me something I don't know. Okay. So that looks pretty good. And then if we go to Tools and Convert it, we'll do Classic, Convert. Okay. Then we'll go to here and get rid of the opacity. Zoom in. Okay, so that's decided it's jungle, but there is a feature to switch that out, and that's saying it's all mountainous. So I could go with that, or I could switch it up. But I like what it's doing here. That still seems really narrow. Alright, I'm going to get out of that. And I'm going to do another one. And I'm going to make it, well, that's still just huge. What if I do 100 by 200? Yeah, I keep forgetting to do that. There's that. Tools, convert, classic, go. Okay. So it didn't do everything. That's alright. If I do that, I can navigate. It's still real narrow though. Yeah, that's really stretched. That's not what I wanted. That just seems really narrow. Yeah, it's not that narrow. So it's skewing it. Okay, so that's the problem, is trying to get a hex map to line up. So that would take some fiddling to figure out what scale to use for the hexes, so that each individual hex is whatever scale it is, and adjust it to that. So if this is 1,660 miles north to south for Greenland, 100 miles per hex, you need 160 hexes north to south. And then if it's 600, you'd need 10. But that would be on a major scale of hex size. So alright, I'm just playing with that. So 1660, 10 miles per hex would be 167 by 65, and I've got it 100 by 200. Well, no, it'd be 65 by. So 100 by 200 is about right for 10-mile hexes. Okay. But okay, so we've got a how big is our border around it. So if we go up here, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 16. That'll be 160 miles off of it, so that's one reason why it's skewed. Well, not necessarily, because this map is including things outside of that. Okay. So I'm making this harder than it needs to be. But it's an interesting little task here. And this okay. So if I got one of my hex grid images and overlaid that, alright, so let's close that and let's go back to this one and make a new item there, and let me figure out where my hex grid is. Don't need a PDF, I need grab that and come on, go here, paste, let's expand it. Alright. Oh, it's up there. Fiddle with opacity. Alright, so that's okay. So do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19. Okay. So 60 miles divided by 19 hexes. That's 87 miles per hex. Alright, let me put a note on that. Okay, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Miles per hex. So that's the skewing, but that's also the difference going that direction. So and if we did 11 times 87, $957 miles. So that's, well, and yeah, top of that one's water and the bottom of that one's water, but that'd be 19 and a half hectare, 18 and a half. 1660 divided by 18.5, that's 89. So if we called it 90 miles per hex, yeah, 18 and a half hexes. Okay, so 90 miles per hex. Times 18.5 hexes equals 60 miles. Okay, so then well, it doesn't have to be exactly like Greenland. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 going that way. So that's okay. So if that's 90 mile hexes, that's still going to be 9 10 mile hexes. You end up with a huge number of hexes, which makes the map much more challenging. So I need a different size hex to do this. All right. Or maybe not. So 36 mile hexes is another one. That'd need to be 46 of these. All right. So that would 46 Texas north to south. 660 divided by 36. 18. So we made it 50 by 20. That could be interesting. Alright, let's save this. Come back here. Let's close that. Let's do a new. Let's do 20. No. There we go. 50. Generate. Turn that off. Go to that. Go to that. No, I didn't keep that. That's going to be. That's not what I want. That. I'll come back to. That's what I want. Alright. Talking to myself. There's that. Grab that. What did I do? 20 by 50. It's still pretty skewed, but let's see what this does. Alright. How much do I have around? Alright, let's get back to this. So there's all that white space around it. So, and then that made it bigger. Okay. So, let's do this. And no, that's not what I want to do. Okay, I gotta go to here and open up my working map. So then my working map, open in this program. There we go. So what I want to do is I want to remove the border. And we'll crop it. There we go. I'll save it. Well, in case I want the other one, I'm going to save as, and we're going to call that not border, but I will call it that because my brain's running out of steam today. Okay, and then we'll close that so I can work with it, and we'll go back to here, and we're done with that. We'll go back to here. We'll go back to here. Why are you not remembering that? Okay, that's there. Look at that. So that's not, I mean, it's still skewed. So what the problem is, it's the rest of it. Okay, so because it's that big, I need it. Alright. I need more squares because this is more than just the whole thing. Alright, so we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121, 122, 123, 124, 125, 126, 127, 17. 21 by 17. And that's backwards because we want to do the width first. So 17 by 21. Okay. And so if those are we want 18 hexes for that. We need to double it. We need to be 36. No. Not double. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 extra hexes. So what size did I tell this thing? 20 by 50. That's not right. So let's get out of that and start over. Alright. So we got 36, so if we make 50 is too much. So it's 17 by 21. So we want it to be 34 by 40. 17 and 17 is going to be 34. No, that's not right. Yeah, that's right. 34. And then 21 and 21 is going to be 42. We'll try that. What's the worst that can happen? It still looks funny. Oh, I remembered to do the check, but I wasn't supposed to do that yet. What dimensions did I put on that dumb thing? No. Four, 32, there we go. Oh, if I don't bring in the map, there. Oh, that looks a lot better. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot better. So those are like 36-mile hexes. And that's not skewed. Okay. Remove the border and do better math. Okay. So now we've got that. We can go to the tools and we can convert the underlay, and oops, I did it again. Let's do that, and change the opacity.
that. Okay. Now it loses the little islands. Which even 36-mile hexes should still show the islands. But we've got the land across here. Okay. So that's not bad. So that's a good starting point. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to save that, and we're going to put it there, and we'll call this working map. Call it good working map, and save that. Excellent. So in this stream, I have managed to come up with a balanced map of what Greenland is without the ice cap, and the icons used are not the ones I would have chosen because of the colors it matched, but that's okay. I can fix it now that I've got something to work with. I don't like the numbers on the hexes. That's a style I would need to fix that, and that should be yeah, I'll figure that out. So let me make myself a note that I've got to figure that out. So to do is going to be fix terrain used, not jungle. I wasn't envisioning this as a jungle type terrain. I mean, it could be. So not jungle, and fix hex numbers. Okay. So the benefit of using Worldographer is I can show online what I'm doing. The downfall is there's some limitations on what icons, if any, could be used in publication that I might wish to do in the future. So that's not a problem. I would either do a map myself or hire somebody to do it for any final product I put out. This is just a concept for me to plan this. One thing I really like about Hexographer is if you right click on it, it can generate random hex crawl stuff. You can clean up your coastline, you can generate nations, you can set some of the terrain to be only visible to the GM if you want to share the map on a screen. There's terrain info, so we can hit like terrain info, and it tells us, you know, what's the elevation and all the different things that it has as far as products, and there's ways to fiddle with those settings. So you don't have to come up with everything on your own. You can use this to kind of randomize it. So I've used it a little bit with gameplay. Mostly I've just used it for playing around. I backed the Kickstarter for this version of Worldographer, and I think there's a new version of Worldographer that's in the works, and I don't know if it's still in Kickstarter or what it is with that, but I've greatly scaled back on Kickstarters I backed because I'm still waiting on some to deliver years later. So I'm very careful with what Kickstarters I back, and the Kickstarter I'm getting ready to do, I'm doing the work as much as possible before the Kickstarter launches and continuing it while it runs, so that once it completes, it won't take long to deliver. Because I don't want to be that person that talks a big game and doesn't ever deliver. That's why it took 8 years to get where I am here before I started the Kickstarter. I put the waiting before the Kickstarter started so that when the Kickstarter comes, it will deliver. So that's my little spiel about the Kickstarter. I am very encouraged by this. I just think this idea of this map is pretty cool when I saw that, because you've got this inland sea that separates these two, and it's a long way around by land, so this choke point could be controlled by people wanting to keep you from going back and forth if you don't have access to a means to cross the water in between. So I'm going to play with this map that it's generated and come up with something a little more interesting. Had a couple other things I wanted to mention in before I ended the stream here. Place names, that's something that you can have some quite interesting place names, and I was thinking about place names this morning, and I've got a notebook with a bunch of different stuff with ideas for place names, and I grabbed the wrong notebook because it's not the one that had the place names in it that I thought. So I've got to figure out what I did with that notebook. I've got multiple what are these called? They're graph composition, so they're composition notebook sized, but it's the graph paper in there. I get those from Walmart. I like that style. They're plenty of pages in each one. It's quad ruled with 100 sheets, so front and back that's 200 pages. They're great for making notes, designing adventures, whatever. And I keep starting new ones, and I probably just, it makes sense to have different topics for these, because I've got one that's for like doing solo RPG adventuring. I haven't done hardly anything with it for a couple years, but I've got it. I've got another one that's an idea for a campaign setting, and I've got some that are dedicated to a specific adventure I built that developed into a long-running campaign. But I have digressed off of what I was originally talking about, was place names. In Michigan, there is a town called Bad Axe, like an axe to chop down a tree. So back at a certain period of time, somebody was out doing their thing, and they randomly came across an old rusty axe, and they had a bad axe, and somehow the name of this community came from this beat up old axe that was found. And let me find this. Here we go. So here is the Wikipedia article about it. And 1905. So yeah, so when they were surveying the first state road in 1861, Rudolph Pabst and George Willis Pack made camp, and they found a worn out, badly damaged axe, and they used the name Bad Axe Camp in their survey, and 9 years later they had a post office there. So that's how that town got its name, and it is right there in Michigan. It's in the which peninsula is that? Anyway, so it's in the thumb of the mitten. Detroit's down here, so Bad Axe is up there. I've been close to Bad Axe, but I've never been there, and so that's just interesting how communities get their names. I know in Missouri there is a town called Peculiar, and let's get there. And supposedly when they filed to get a post office, they had to have the instructions on the form said you had to have a peculiar and unusual name, and they ran into conflict with other names they wanted to use, and so supposedly the name Peculiar was chosen. So the origin stories of where communities get their names can be quite interesting. And that was the other topic I wanted to talk about. And when I find my notebook with other ideas for this, that will be a topic of another stream. So we are well past 10 o'clock. I appreciate you all joining in. I will continue streaming every Friday. I may veer away from the world building stream during the Kickstarter run, but I will continue with the world building. I will try. I need to think this through more, but anyway, the world building will continue because this eventually will be a product I share with others, and as it comes together it will look a lot better. But in the early stages, projects are going to look like this, and it just takes time to knock all the rough edges off. So I want to thank everybody that joined tonight. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I will catch you all next week as we continue with our world building. I hope your weekend is a peaceful one, restful and enjoyable, and may get in some gaming. So until next time, game on.
Knows how to wield a sword, spellbinding and divine, up on a shield to a wolf, and if you have the time, he's got a mean sales pitch, he even makes it rhyme, and if you need a job, this is his go-to line. Some people wanna die poor, I can't imagine why. They say once you fuck the bomb, there's nothing left to buy. But if you wanna die rich, go punch up on both eyes. Then raise up your long sword, follow me and die. Yeah, raise up your long sword, follow